Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official U of A debit card, voted Best Bank Credit Union and Best Debit Card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Welcome to another edition of Wildcat Weekly with head coach Sean Miller. 2 games this week for the Cats, 1 home, 1 away. Arizona will host UC Irvine on Tuesday night at McHale Center. Then Saturday, travel to Columbia, Missouri to take on the Tigers. Coach, coming off a game against Gonzaga over in Los Angeles, you've had a chance to go back and look at the film of that game. What are some of the things that stood out for you?
Well, first of all, Brian, I think going into the game with Parker's injury and really the quick turnaround in between the time that he was injured and the time of the game, not only were we playing shorthanded, but I would have loved to have had an opportunity to have a couple more days just to get everybody aligned, because the problem when somebody actually goes down in a game is it's not just missing that player. It's what that player's absence now does to everybody else's role, and everybody's affected. Even Kadeem Allen, who obviously is a big part of what we do, but Kadeem hasn't played nearly as much point guard this season as he did a year ago, and now all of a sudden that's really the only position he's playing. So ditto across the board. Having said that, I thought Gonzaga, once again, it was a quality team, great program. It's why we always love to play them. They bring out the best in you. And for us on Saturday in LA to have beaten Gonzaga, we would have had to play a great game. A couple of things that we didn't do. Got off to a slow start in large part because of their three-point shooting and our turnovers. At halftime, we found ourselves down 12 points. We had 9 turnovers, Brian. In the second half, we played the entire 20 minutes with only 3 turnovers and played much better. We didn't shoot the ball well, but we played better. And I think the fact that the three-point shots went in the way they did at the beginning of the game, made it harder for our guys to trust leaving their guy to double Karnowski and dig and crowd. And clearly, I think the last part of Saturday was his 9 two-point field goals. And usually, big guys don't get that many shots off, let alone make that many. But that's Gonzaga. They're going to do it as a team. They do it the right way, and quality opponent. I loved our guys fight, and I think we leave that game having learned a lot.
As Kadeem adjusts to going back to the point guard position, talk about how the young guys in particular now adjust to him as the point guard.
Well, you're right, and we have some choices to make based on our lack of depth, and I think just everybody from Raleigh Alkins. And when you talk about Raleigh, one of the things that he's doing exceptionally well right now is he's offensive rebounding, and he did that against Gonzaga. It's one of his strengths, and the more he gets used to doing it every day and in each game, the more that becomes a part of his identity as a young player. The second that he plays the 2 guard, you could still send him and we could still try to get offensive rebounds, but clearly you can't go that direction and also get back, especially against really good transition teams. So I think for us right now, less is more. I don't want to say we're kind of like starting over, but clearly downsizing. I think the more that our players can focus on playing hard and not having to think, that's going to be the best for all of us, because each one of them is in a much different role. And even since Parker was hurt on Wednesday, when you consider a day off, a game, we haven't had a lot of time together here to prepare for UC Irvine.
When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier, offering tools to organize your finances and keep your payments up to date and you on track for your future. You also want a financial institution you can trust and cares about the things you do. For 60 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community, investing in the causes that make our area a better place to live. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Wildcat Basketball Weekly continues, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Show your Wildcat spirit with a U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Irvine comes to town, 4-4 record. They took Cal to overtime in Berkeley. You've seen this program before. It's one of those good, solid mid-major programs. What do you expect from them?
Well, they're extremely well coached. They play a 2-3 zone and man-to-man. I would say against us, they'll put that zone up there and make sure that we execute. And that's going to be a big part of the game when we play them, is to not panic, to move the ball, to not settle, to get 2-point shots, to get offensive rebounds, to beat it down the floor, not just walk the ball up, pass it around the perimeter, and hope that we make threes. And that's really not our team. And there's a lot of good zone offenses that don't rely on the 3-point shot, and that's who we have to become. There are times against Santa Clara, and again, we had Parker at that point, that I thought our ball movement and execution was very good, especially for November. But I think the experience that we gained in LA will help us towards being more successful here against UC Irvine. But UC Irvine, big, especially for a mid-major program, very, very well coached, and we're going to have to play an excellent game for sure.
All right, the other part of course, college life is finals week, and it's approaching here rapidly for the guys. How do you balance that with practice and game prep?
Well, first semester, it's 16 weeks. We're in week 16. Our guys finish up their regular class schedules on Wednesday and can have a final exam as early as on Friday of this week. A lot of them already are turning in papers and working towards next week, but it's always a tough time, and I think the way we frame it to our guys is it represents sometimes the challenges of a real world. We all have deadlines and pressure, and sometimes projects that mean a lot, and this is kind of their peak time when you consider what we're doing in practice, playing games, traveling this weekend, and also finishing up school.
All right, Cats home Tuesday night to UC Irvine, Saturday at Missouri. We'll see you again next time on Wildcat Weekly.
Thank you for watching Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the free U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.